Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of In the Driver's Seat with dubizzle. I finally got it right after so many takes, but hey, here we go. On this episode, we have some very, very sad news because a favourite of the UAE is being discontinued, and it really is a sad time. The Formula One season has officially kicked off, and well, it started exactly how we expected it to do. And of course, last but not least, Dodge is back with the Charger. But is it more than just a charging port? Well, we'll find out on this episode. And of course, I'm joined by Fawad. Fawad, great to see you. And Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you very much. Ramadan Kareem for everyone. So sad news, huh?
Yeah, well, what's that? The Ramadan or the other news is sad?
No, Ramadan is definitely not sad.
Ramadan is a fantastic time of
It
year.
is a fantastic time. Everyone is a little bit short-tempered in Ramadan, so be careful when you're driving, guys, especially in the rush hours. Let's be mindful of other people. They're fasting as well.
And so for the sad news then, unfortunately, an icon is being laid to rest. Which
It is actually an icon. If you think about it, there isn't many cars in that category left anymore.
It is really sad because this car is immensely popular in this part of the world. I should really say parts of Africa, Australia, Southeast Asia, even South America. The Nissan Patrol Super Safari, and I would assume as well the Safari model is also going. So this brings a real tear to my eye because this is a car that it's synonymous, right?
It is.
It feels weird that this car is going, and of course, to send off the car, they're going to have this.
But before sending it, that's the good news actually. That before sending it, they're creating a special limited edition Super Safari, the legend, or what they're calling it, Al-Ustura, which it's made actually for this region. It's only GCC. It's made only in the GCC. And it's going to have some Arabic calligraphy on it and some special editions from the outside and inside as well.
So a lot of the plastic cladding on the side of the car and various parts of it will actually have motifs of sand dunes on it, which I think is quite fitting. The most interesting feature for me about this car, though, is the HDMI port that they're going to put in the center console. Why? I don't get. Why do you need an HDMI port to
Why
send
not?
off a car?
Why not? It's a special edition. Maybe you want to connect the cinema while you're at the Sahara, having your.
I mean,
Your dinner?
I've seen HDMI ports inside of cars, but why this one in particular? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's time to hook up the DVD player and reminisce
Exactly.
about the Super Safari.
Reminisce about the Super Safari.
So, would you buy one?
Actually, now thinking that they're gone, what are the competitors for this car, right? You have Wrangler, Jeep Wrangler, you have FJ Cruiser, and you have the Super Safari. These are the only three, the highest in this category, at least, the SUVs, right?
And of those three, one of them is officially gone already, which is the
Which is the
FJ.
FJ Cruiser, which is actually the one I would have chosen. I love that one.
One of them has
It's-
been around since the dawn of time.
And still
essentially.
going on, the Wrangler.
I don't understand how, but it still exists.
It's a very famous car.
I mean,
like
it is, but it's so impractical, right? It sucks when it comes to fuel economy, to be honest. It has really bad fuel economy. When you drive over 120 kilometers an hour, it's like throwing a brick through the air. There's no aerodynamics. But when it comes to off-roading, yeah, okay, you cannot beat that thing.
You cannot beat that thing. It's an amazing car off-roading. So that's why it's staying. And people love it, man. They just drive the Wrangler. They don't care how it sounds. They have the big tires that you cannot even drive with them on the road, and they enjoy the hell out of it.
Fair enough. I mean, going back to the Super Safari,
Do you agree with me? Which one of these three would you buy? Would you buy the Super Safari, the Wrangler, or the FJ Cruiser? While you still can.
I would take the Super Safari.
Yeah, I'd take the FJ.
It means a lot more to me, the Super Safari.
Look, it's an amazing car. I'm not saying no. It's just the interior of that car is close to the FJ Cruiser, actually. The FJ is not a very new car, even though with I think 2020 they had the big screen in it. But that's it. The interior of the Wrangler actually is the most beautiful between all the three
And the Wrangler is the only one that has an electric powertrain as well.
as well.
Why? Nobody knows. I kind of don't get why we're going to have electric off-roaders. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool. But if you run out of charge in the middle of the desert, that's a big issue. And especially if that gear locks in place.
You need a power bank.
Power bank or a power generator that comes along with you.
Exactly.
But speaking of electric cars, Dodge has returned
Dodge has returned.
with an electric Charger.
Mm-hmm.
But is it only an electric car? Because a lot of us were caught out by this, myself included. I'm a big fan of Dodge. I've always liked the Charger. I've owned one in the past. I really, really want a Hellcat. And when they said that we're going to bring out an electric one, everybody focused on the fact that it's electric. Nobody focused on the fact that it's not going to be only electric.
Oh.
because they are keeping the inline six at least.
Oh,
So
the
no
inline si-
V6,
that's
but inline six, and it's
not
called
bad.
Hurricane. So it's the same engine, if I'm not mistaken, as what's in the Grand Wagoneer.
Oh,
But obviously, this will be cranked out to this will be cranked up to churn out something ridiculous like 640 horsepower.
that's not a bad idea to keep it then. So you can choose an electric version or a 600 horsepower inline six.
Yes, but the thing that does get me about the car as well is it's a new shape. So they kind of kept the muscular appearance for it, right?
Yeah.
They've kept that kind of coupe shape of the Challenger because now the Challenger is officially gone.
Yeah.
It'd probably come back as a trim or
Or an electric
package.
version or something.
Exactly. They've done something to the badge, and I hate to say this, but it looks like a Mitsubishi logo at the front. It really, really does. It's like you can see it from far away. It's like a three-pointed shape. That's not a triangle, by the way. That really looks like a Mitsubishi logo.
Okay.
And I find it's a bit too thin at the front as well. The lights don't kind of stick out as much as they used to, but I guess with headlights getting smaller and more powerful, you don't need these massive
headlights
circles
yeah.
anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's going to these thin like triangles and rectangles and small circles and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
People
to
are
be
big on
sleek
shapes.
in the design of the car.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the future of cars, right? We're getting smaller and thinner headlights, aren't we? Now then, so we've spoken about that.
Let's go to
And-
the Formula One.
Yes.
The Formula One season has officially started, and like Chris was saying, it's as expected in terms of who's winning. But I think there is a few changes happening, like in the teams.
Yeah, there definitely is, especially between the midfield and the back markers. So
Exactly.
Williams and Haas now are the top midfields, where Cash App, Red Bull, whatever
Which
they're
is
called
actually
nowadays.
good because Williams haven't been in the midfields for ages.
It's all about Albon. That's why.
Yeah, it
See,
is
my
about
pick
Albon.
was Logan Sargent was a big mistake. So
Yeah,
that was my bad.
Apparently, he didn't even make it to the top 15.
And he's already 21st in a 20 people championship. 20 people, 20 races.
20,
Yeah, there
20
we go.
races
People.
into the
20 people are
championship.
racing
Yeah.
for a championship. Technically, it's correct, but it's incorrect, isn't it? Because obviously, Oliver Behrman stepped in for Carlos
Yeah,
Sainz in
that was-
Jeddah.
Actually, he did very good for someone who was his first race in a Formula One car without free practice 1 and free practice 2. He just joined from free practice 3 and finished 7th.
Yeah,
That's
very,
very
very
impressive.
impressive, especially when you get congratulated by both Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. That is a
100%.
big accolade, isn't it?
Mhm.
But it's interesting to see how far backwards Sauber has gone. I don't know what they're called nowadays.
So
Again,
the stake.
that's it.
Steak
Steak,
team,
kick,
yeah.
kick steak, whatever. These team names are getting absolutely ridiculous, to be honest.
But it's not going to stay forever because, as you remember, in 2026, who's going to replace those?
Audi,
Audi's coming.
great, and they should put an RS6 engine in there.
Oh, that'd be
No.
exciting. The V10.
They won't. We'll get a 1.6 liter V6, won't we, with hybrid technology?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, the Formula One season has started exactly the way we all thought it would. We thought maybe we get a bit of surprise, especially with the zero side pods that Red Bull kind of had, but upon further inspection, they're not really zero.
Yeah, but what's weird as well is that they succeeded in it, where Mercedes tried the same technology and failed.
They certainly did. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here is something that happened now. It is actually 2 years ago. It didn't happen last year, it happened the year before,
Yeah.
which was the Volkswagen ID series.
Yeah, the ID
And
series.
how you cannot register them here anymore. Now I think of it, it was actually last year that it happened. It wasn't 2
last
years
year,
ago.
yeah. It's last year.
So Al Nabuda stepped in and said that these cars do not conform to regulations as per the GSO.
Yeah.
So they halted the sales of these Chinese imported
Chinese
cars
imports, yeah.
to be registered in Dubai. You could still register them in Sharjah and Abu Dhabi, and this is obviously a safety aspect. That's why they did it. Now, interesting enough, news has come out of Europe that certain European countries are doing the same thing. Last I heard was Germany were cracking down on these imports.
Yeah, they started them in Germany apparently, and they're, it's the same. And I think one car importer is the one who got them to Europe, and everyone went against him because he thought that it's cheaper, and he had a lot of buyers for these cars, and people like them and they're buying them. But again, Volkswagen in Europe has stepped in and is actually protesting the idea of having them in the Europe.
I mean, it makes some sense, right? Because these cars that are bought for the region are built for the region, right? They are built to conform to each and every region or country specifications when it comes down to cars. When you have something that might not be regulated by the authorities or might not conform to it, there are obviously some things that might not go the way that you think it would, right?
Yeah.
They might go in a different direction. You know, I'm not saying the car's going to snap left or something like that while you're driving. No, I'm just saying it doesn't conform to the rules and regulations of the country or the organizing body. But for what I got a question for you.
Tell me.
Because we dropped that segment and we're bringing it back later on and we're talking about obscure cars.
Mm-hmm.
Who originally manufactured Jeep?
Who originally manufactured Jeep? You were just saying that before this.
That's why I asked you.
I forgot. You just told me and I forgot, didn't you?
Any guesses? It's a 3-letter acronym.
3-letter. Man, I have very bad memory.
Same.
A very bad memory. So we just told, we were just discussing it 10 minutes ago and I forgot it completely. I'm drawing a blank. What was it actually?
AMC.
AMC.
American Motor Company.
Oh, I know it as American Motor Company.
Yeah. So AMC
the
was
American
the name
Motor
of it.
Company,
There
correct.
You go. And that brings us to the end of this episode of In the Driver's Seat with dubizzle. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tell us down below which of the 3 cars that we mentioned before is your favorite. Is it the FJ Cruiser? Is it the Super Safari? Or is it the Jeep Wrangler? Let us know in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Ramadan Kareem.